Breaking news, Sony has leaked a7C II, and there's a new a7cR. Nikon leaked a new retro-styled camera. Canon leaked new details about the R5 Mark II, the Samsung S24 Ultra, and iPhone 15 cameras. All of it's coming up, but first I want to thank our sponsor, Squarespace. Squarespace.com/Tony is where you go when you want something new that you want to share with the world. Maybe it's a new business and you want to be able to take appointments or orders from clients. Maybe you want to show off your work, your photos, your videos, so that you can get more work or just look super cool on the internet. Forget social media. That's making somebody else rich. Own your own website at squarespace.com/Tony. Create your own branding, pick your colors, try it completely free, no credit card. And when you love it, the coupon code Tony gets you 10% off. Thanks for making these news pieces possible, Squarespace. Up first, we've talked a lot about how artificial intelligence imaging is going to change the world as we know it, because right now, anybody can type a few words into an AI engine and generate an image of anything or anybody that they can imagine, and people can no longer tell truth from fiction. Obviously, we need a way to identify which images are real and which are fake. Well, the big tech companies got together with President Biden of the United States and they came up with an answer, and it is watermarks. Yes, that text that you overlay on stills or video that we have been doing forever, and that is just super easily cropped out, that is their solution. In fact, you don't even have to crop it anymore, thanks to a whole variety of different tools, including all of these that remove the watermark automatically from photos and video. Guess what they're powered by? Yes, AI, artificial intelligence watermark removers are a big thing and extremely easy to use. Today I am so disappointed in both big tech and our own government for not putting together a plan to come up with a better solution than watermarks. We need something like the Content Authenticity Initiative, something that exists and that Canon and Nikon have already joined. We need big backing to create a system based on public key cryptography that will end-to-end show genuine images by embedding a whole bunch of metadata securely. Anything you embed in AI images, video, or text can be easily stripped out by those who would want to pass it off. And by saying that they have a solution, it feels like they are pushing aside all the actual solutions that require more work so that they don't have to deal with it and they can focus on the business of making money. I'm mad. But let's move on to the things that really matter, some gear leaks. Okay, some specs for the iPhone 15 Pro have leaked, and Apple is increasing the size of the aperture on the main lens from f1.78 or f1.79 down to f1.7, so it will gather about 20% more light. You can expect low light images to have a little bit less noise and for there to be slightly more natural, not artificial background blur in it. Otherwise, the sensor will be the same and everything will pretty much be the same, so minor bump, actually kind of a disappointment. And leaks for the Samsung S24 Ultra. It has a couple of zoom lenses on it. The more moderate zoom lens is currently a 3x zoom lens, and that's going to go up to a 5x zoom lens. That's not going to increase your overall reach, but it should make the middle of that telephoto range be a little bit crisper and sharper when you're really pushing the limits of it. Good news, just not big news. Now let's get on to the leaks from Canon, Nikon, and Sony. First, I want to say Nikon is finally shipping the Z8. It is in stock at Adorama, so if you go to this link here, you can buy one and have it in a couple of days. Tamron announced that they're working on a new super zoom lens for Nikon, a 35 to f150, f2 to f2.8. This is via Nikon rumors. This is good news. This lens already exists for the Sony E mount, but I'm glad to see it coming over to the Nikon mount, and I'm disappointed that it's still not coming to Canon mount. There were rumors that Canon might be allowing some third-party lenses in, but we haven't seen it so far. Good news for Canon users though, Canon says they are working on a new f2 zoom. Now most of the high-end professional zooms are f2.8. So an f2 zoom gathers a full stop more light than those f2.8 zooms. That means substantially better low light performance, like almost the same difference as upgrading from APS-C to full frame is what you get when you upgrade from f2.8 to f2. Canon currently has one f2 zoom, the 28-70 f2, and when we reviewed it, we absolutely loved it, but man, it was a huge lens, but the quality was so perfect. This is going to complement that lens. That's what Canon Rumors is saying now, but I don't know if it's going to complement it on the wide end or the telephoto end. Like, this could be a 16-28 f2, or I think it might be a 70-150 f2. Now, I think a 70-150 f2 would probably be extremely large. I'm inclined to think this is going to be a 16-28 f2 ultra-wide lens for people shooting events or who just need to be a little bit south of the 28-70 f2 lens. Now for the camera leaks. The Nikon Zf is coming soon, according to Nikon Rumors. The F series of cameras are Nikon's retro-styled cameras, and they've had two in the recent past. In the DSLR era, they had the DF, which was a full-frame digital SLR camera that had retro styling, and I always thought it was absolutely beautiful. And in the mirrorless era, they've had the ZFC, which I own here, and I think is probably the most beautiful camera of this decade. Everybody who sees it around my neck just loves it. They ask about it. And I would love to get one of these that use Nikon's suite of full-frame lenses, since the lenses that they have for APS-C are still pretty limited. As we look through these pictures of Nikon's previous retro-styled cameras, we see that they tend to have a lot of chrome, they have extra buttons and dials, and generally they're cool and stylish, which is actually a really key consideration for buyers in 2023. That's why the Fuji X100V is so wildly popular, not because it does some special imaging trick or it has more megapixels or frames per second, but because it looks cool around your neck or on your shoulder. And believe it or not, some people care about design and fashion, and if something's going to be on your shoulder all the time, it should look cool, right? Photography is supposed to be fun, it's supposed to be cool, so I'm really excited to see the retro-styled camera coming from Nikon. Nikon Rumors is saying the price is going to be between $2,000 and $2,500, and there's not much else, but I believe this will be based on the Z6 Mark II. The previous Nikon DF was a pretty low megapixel sensor, and in fact, it didn't even have video. I don't think Nikon has the cojones to release a camera without video in 2023, though it would be cool if they did. But I think it will probably be pretty much straight copy of the Nikon Z6 Mark II, but probably with some software updates to improve the autofocus a little bit. So thus, I think it'll have 24 megapixels, 10 frames per second in high quality RAW, or 14 frames per second in lower quality RAW. Probably a side flip screen, since that's what this ZFC here has. And yeah, I think it'll probably do 4K video for you, even though some of you wish it just shot stills. Now, Sony leaked a very similar camera. Their retro-styled camera is the a7C. The a7C stands for compact, but they went ahead and threw some chrome in there and made it look like a cool old rangefinder, and I think the looks of it are just as appealing as the small size of it. The original a7C was based on the Sony a7 III, which is now a very old camera, and that showed in the a7C. It had the old menu systems, the autofocus was kind of flaky, and though I loved the looks and the form factor, I didn't end up getting one because the rest of the camera was so outdated. But I personally would happily buy one of these two cameras. One is the a7C Mark II, which I believe will be based on the a7 IV. So it'll inherit the same 33 megapixel sensor, the same sophisticated autofocus system, but there's a second one coming too, and it's based on the Sony a7R5. And that has an amazing 61 megapixel sensor. Can you imagine that in a compact body that you could easily sling around your neck with a rangefinder design that wasn't bumping your nose? Oh, I would totally love one of these as a walking around camera. Sony has some great compact primes, and there are lots of third-party compact primes that you could use. In the past, they've been available in both chrome and black, but you should only get the chrome because the chrome is cooler. The a7C only has a single card slot. I think they do that to save space because they are supposed to be compact, and I would guess that these cameras would have a single card slot also, and I would guess that they would carry forward the flip forward screen that we see in the current a7C. Another thing I didn't like about the a7C was a poor rangefinder viewfinder quality, so I would hope that they would improve that a little bit, but again, they are optimizing it for size, so they might still go with a low megapixel rangefinder viewfinder. Here's some specs on the upcoming Canon R5 Mark II. Canon rumors are saying the sensor will be going to 60 megapixels up from 45 megapixels, and I personally don't care about that at all. Like, more is generally better, but when we reviewed the a7R V, I could not see any differences in image quality. Even in studio environments, you really don't see that much, but in the real world, with lenses and the quality of the air and subject movement and camera shake, and nothing is quite perfect enough to allow you to see that little bit of detail. I think you'd have to make the jump all the way to like 100 megapixels to see a significant improvement, so I'm not excited about that. They're suggesting that maybe we'll see higher quality video, like 8K at 60 frames per second or even 8K at 180 frames per second. And I think that's possible, but other than some very niche-y wildlife uses, I don't think that's particularly useful. I just don't care that much about 8K video, and I don't think other people do either. So I wouldn't want to make any big increases in price or sacrifices to like sensor readout speed just to hit some 8K marketing specs. In the comments down below, let me know what you think about any of these. The new Zf camera that's coming, the new Sony compact cameras, or the R5 Mark II. And thank you to our sponsor, Squarespace, who makes this possible. Anytime you want your own custom domain, like I have northropphotography.com, so you can have your own custom website where you control everything. And social media can't put ads on there. Pick your colors, pick your logo, pick your branding, be your own business at squarespace.com/Tony. It's totally free to try it out. You do not have to give them a credit card number, so they're not gonna like sneak in charges or anything. If you don't like it, do nothing, but you will like it. And when you do, sign up with the coupon code Tony, and that'll get you 10% off, and let them know that you heard about them through me. Thanks so much. Bye.